Hello everyone, welcome back. We are actually going to be talking about a lot of things today. We have the wrap up of the month happening. We already saw a lot of interesting weather this weekend, and it's pretty interesting because the last weekend of September we had a mixture of both wintry conditions and then today with just pretty sunny conditions. So we'll kind of be talking about that a bit and then what your work week is going to look like this week. So as we jump into it, we have our weather headlines and our photo from Nancy Mike. Now, not sure if you can really see it super clearly, but there's a lot of frost on the ground, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to show this photo. It's because of the frost. So with our weather headlines, we had the first official freeze in Fairbanks. So that low temperature finally hit, and it did happen overnight, but it happened early this morning around 1:50 a.m. So the first official freeze is today, early this morning, and then we do have drier conditions moving in statewide. Now our first frost in Anchorage happened in East Anchorage, but it's still a little bit unofficial. We'll be talking about that just a little bit, but with that first freeze that we just had in Fairbanks, this is actually tied for the latest freeze of the season. So you can see our top 5 latest freezes, and of course we have last year's and this year. So it's pretty interesting that just 2 years in a row the freeze happened on the same day, but you can just see, you know, pretty close together in terms of the days. So we are tied for the latest freeze of the season that happened early this morning, like I mentioned. But with our winter sneak peeks, we actually had a few viewer pictures that I wanted to show you today. So with this picture, this is in East Anchorage, and this is actually frost on a car. So I just wanted to show you that and show that the frost has hit in Anchorage and just pretty much just the east side. But we also have this photo from Fairbanks with the snow that happened overnight. So that was also the first snow accumulation as well as the first freeze. They happened on the same day, which is pretty interesting, but of course those two go hand in hand with those freezing temperatures with our snow. Of course, they kind of help each other out. But yeah, those are our viewer photos from just a winter sneak peek. So thank you. And if you have any viewer photos, never hesitate to send them. We always love having them and try to incorporate them into our show whenever we can. So here's a time lapse of Fairbanks today, and you can see all that snow moving on in earlier this morning, and then it kind of cleared out and pretty much melted away, but that's obviously because those temperatures hit above freezing after a little while. But of course those temperatures are still really cold, hitting in the 30s for the next few days. So those highs are really starting to dip down. But looking ahead, we do have drier and colder air moving on through. So you can see on our upper level forecast, we have that low pressure system just sitting up north above the north slope. That's still going to bring in some possibility for some snow on those higher elevation regions, as well as the Brooks Range, just mountain ranges in general, still continuing to have a possibility of some snowfall. But then we also have that higher pressure and that ridge starting to move on in through the state. You can see it building near the Seward Peninsula and then all across the interior, moving down to south central and then also down to southeast. So we're going to start to see some slightly clearer skies and also drier conditions. So not as much precipitation is expected, at least for the start of this work week, but that's something that is also important to know for areas like southeast, a region that has been seeing just a lot of heavy rain and a lot of heavy winds. So you're going to catch a little bit of a break, which is pretty nice. But just looking ahead, you can see western side of Alaska moving into the interior, all of that dry air. That's pretty much what we can expect to see, and even in south central and even along the Alaska Peninsula, we're seeing that drier air moving on through. So clear skies, sunnier skies, and less precipitation. Now those temperatures are still going to be pretty cold because with that higher pressure, we're still getting that colder air moving on in, which is another reason why we're not really seeing as many storms moving on through, as well as that precipitation that follows. But that low pressure system that's sitting in the Gulf of Alaska, that's going to be pushing south, and as that starts to push south, the southeast region is going to get a little bit of a drizzle, but not nearly anything that you've been seeing like last week and the week before, just storm after storm. But this one is moving south, so you're going to get some of the outer bands, but no direct hits like you've been getting lately. Now this 150 millibar temperatures, I wanted to show you this because this is showing that cold air mass that's moving across Alaska. That's that region of high pressure that we're looking at to bring in those colder temperatures, and that's really why we saw what we saw last night with that snow accumulation as well as that first freeze. Now with our satellite and radar, we're not really seeing anything happening right now. You see that low pressure system moving in the Gulf of Alaska, but it's not really going anywhere, not really doing anything, just some scattered showers along the outer bands. And again, that's going to be pushing south, so in south central, don't expect too much rain. If you get anything, it's just going to be a very light drizzle, but mostly cloudy skies are expected heading into Monday. And that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about for the southeast region. Like I said, mostly cloudy skies for some areas like Juneau, but then others will see partly cloudy to partly sunny skies, and that's mostly the northern portion of the panhandle. But then southern areas are going to catch a little bit of those outer bands of moisture, just getting a little bit of a drizzle. No heavy rainfall is expected, no high wind gusts. You can already see the highest winds you'll be seeing are 15 miles per hour. So finally tapering off from those fall storms. Now the interior is also going to be seeing those temperatures getting pretty cold, high temperatures still in the 30s like I had mentioned earlier, but you're also noticing that with those drier air conditions, those sky conditions are clearing up just a little bit to partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. No rain or snow is expected to hit overnight or Monday, but up in the north slope you're still going to get a little bit of moisture in Dead Horse and then mostly cloudy skies moving on through, but all the highs across that region are going to be peaking at freezing level. So it's pretty cold up there. I'd love to go visit, but it's looking a little chilly right now, so maybe not. But western Alaska is going to be seeing those temperatures in the 30s and 40s, but mostly sunny skies moving on through. Now western Alaska has been holding on to these kind of conditions and these sky conditions for a really long time. I feel like it's been a month of me just saying western Alaska is staying mostly sunny, but that's pretty much what you can expect. So nothing really changing in the next coming days. Mostly sunny skies moving on through, and those temperatures dipping down just a little bit more. And in the Aleutians, we're seeing those temperatures on average for this time of year and just for the Aleutians in general. But the only area really expected to see much rain is going to be Cold Bay, and it's really not going to be that much rain. Even the Aleutians are seeing some calmer conditions in terms of sky cover as well as wind gusts and then the rain as well. So things are starting to taper off, giving a little bit of a break as we get closer to October. And then of course in South Central we're seeing those sky conditions mostly sunny for tomorrow, except for areas like Kodiak, but then temperatures staying near 50 throughout the entire region. We're seeing that in the Copper River Basin with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies, but Matsu still going to see those little bit more cloud cover than other areas. But temperatures still near 50 degrees, and then same story with Anchorage as usual. Pretty similar to what Matsu is seeing, but I wanted to show you the aurora forecast really quick. We have medium activity. Now this is just for tonight. This medium activity is for tonight. It's going to be visible all the way up from the north slope down to southeast, so thought it'd be nice to kind of share that. Little break from the storms, and then you get the aurora, so you know, it's kind of nice to know, but just know that in the next coming days and about tomorrow and then the day after, you're going to have fairly low activity. But I just thought I'd throw that out there for you. It is Alaska after all. You might as well try to catch it when you can. But in Anchorage, we're going to be seeing those temperatures continuing on near 50 degrees pretty much all week long with very little change happening in the forecast. Just mostly sunny skies for Monday, partly sunny skies moving in throughout the rest of the week. And Fairbanks already done with that snow accumulation, and then those temperatures dipping down below freezing for the overnight lows. So I think that now that we have finally hit that first freeze of the season, we're going to start to see those temperatures starting to climb a little bit more often into those lower temperatures below freezing. So high temperatures getting pretty cold and low temperatures getting even colder below freezing. So still something to know and still kind of important to know, but again, the bottom line, drier conditions moving on through the entire state really. So interior not really expecting to see much snow moving on through the next couple of days. Southeast not expecting to see a whole lot of rain. South Central staying mostly sunny next couple days, and that's pretty much what we're seeing statewide. So no matter where you are, that's pretty much the forecast, all from that high pressure moving on through. So hope everybody has a great start to your more sunny work week. And Monday is going to be a pretty nice day. So if you have the opportunity to get outside, try to do that while you still can, while we still have that daylight happening. But in the meantime, I hope everybody has a great night, and I will tune in with you guys next weekend.